everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between the Apple Pencil first gen and the Apple Pencil second gen. Now, we're also going to be discussing whether the upgrade is worth it or how noticeable it actually is. So here are the pencils themselves side by side. You can see that the first gen is a little bit taller than the second gen. Now, in regular use, you're really not going to be noticing this difference. Although I should also say that the first gen has a little bit of a weight distribution problem in that there is a noticeable weight imbalance right at the top. It's not evenly distributed, the weight I mean, but it's much nicer on the second gen. But when you're actually jotting things down, you're really not going to be noticing it too much. It's only when you compare them side by side where you actually notice this difference. Now, some other things. Well, first of all, let's get this thing right off the bat. In terms of performance and how they actually write on the display, they're absolutely identical. You're not going to be noticing any less or more lag. I mean, there really wasn't any lag to begin with, but there are no lags on either of these devices. They're going to work exactly the same way, with one extra functionality on the second generation model, because there is this side part that is not round anymore. And I actually thought that this was the only part you could double tap to switch between different tools, but actually most parts of the side are working when you double tap it. So it's not just limited to this one, because actually when I first thought it was limited to this part, I was like, man, I need to readjust my grip to do this. But then I found out that I actually don't really need to do that, which is definitely a nice touch. And of course, the probably one of the most noticeable differences between these two generations is the fact that this one attaches magnetically to the side of your iPad. It pairs and charges, while this one needs you to stick it into the bottom of the charging port on the iPad. Or, I mean, of course, there is this adapter, which you can very easily lose, just as much as the cap, which I've actually lost, and I had to buy a replacement cap for it. So, not the most ideal implementation, but hey, it works, and if you actually get one, you're gonna get used to it. You're gonna get used to finding a spot for the pencil itself as well as the iPad itself. So it's not going to be too much of an inconvenience, but an inconvenience in the end. So with all that said, I mean, this one is of course $30 more expensive. And there is one other difference which I forgot to mention, which is that the first gen is glossy finish, the second gen is matte. And when you look at them side by side, again, I think the matte looks better. But when I had this, I never thought that this looked ugly. No, I really actually thought this was pretty beautiful. So when you get either of them, you're really not going to miss the other one, especially if you get this one, because this is objectively a better pen, but it's not like if you get this, you're going to regret it. No, not at all. It performs excellent. I've been using it for 2 years, but I have this one now, and yes, it works better. But I would absolutely use this as my daily driver if I actually had my 10.5-inch iPad, which sadly broke. So I had to get another one. But yeah, this performed really well for me. So if you're in the market for an iPad Air 3rd generation or the last gen 10.5-inch, I think you're really not going to go wrong with this one. I definitely recommend this one if you are actually looking at the older gen iPad Pros or the current gen Minis and Airs. So you can't go wrong with this one, but of course this one a little bit better. I would say that it is worth the $30 premium. So there is another slight difference, which is about the nibs, which were included previously in the box with the first gen model, but in the second gen model there are no extra pen nibs. Because I actually had mine not working after a year or so, and then I replaced it, it worked fine. So if this one, the second gen one, stops working well, because it wasn't like it disconnected or whatever, it didn't just perform really well. So I replaced the pen nib which came in the box, and it worked great. But this one doesn't have any pen nibs, extra pen nibs in the box. So you either have to get one from their website, which is $20 for 4 of them. Ridiculous price, to be honest. Or if you have a first gen pencil lying around, you can use the pen nibs that came with that. So that's also an option. So that's pretty much it. I hope this video helped you in deciding which model you should go for, and based on that, which iPad model you should go for. Please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one.